So let's talk about how to track employee training in Excel. To do this, we're going to compile data from two different sheets to create this employee training tracker. So we're going to start by listing each employee's information in its own sheet. And the data that I have here might differ for your business, but for this example, we're going to include the employee's name, their ID number, department, and title. So next, I want to format this as a table. So you can either press Control T on your keyboard, or you can come up here in the Home tab in the Style section and select which table style you'd like to use. And I'm going to go with this green one. And my table does have headers, so we'll leave that checked off and click OK. And once it's in table form, I'm going to select the employee name column, and let's expand this. So when I see that little down arrow above the employee name column, I'm going to select it. And then I'm going to come here to the name box and assign a name to it. And I'll just call this employee names, making sure not to leave any spaces between words. And I'm doing this so that later when we make the tracker, we can reference this list, because by assigning a name to the column, each time the table is updated, the named range will also automatically update. But we'll get back to this. And we'll rename this sheet Employee List. So where it says Sheet 1, right-click and select Rename. While Excel is a great tool to help you keep track of employee training, it does require a decent amount of manual inputting, which can lead to errors. And that's where the sponsor of this video can help you. Connect Team is an employee management app designed specifically for non-desk teams. Their new courses feature allows you to upload employee training courses like new employee onboarding, safety training, etc. And once you've uploaded it, you can deliver your training courses directly to your employees right on their app. And if you still need to create a training program, you can also browse through their course templates for one that best fits your needs. Then simply make any company-specific updates. And because the app is accessible on mobile devices, your employees will have the flexibility to complete their training from wherever they may be. It also gives you real-time visibility into the progress each employee is making on their training. It's super easy to use for both management and employees. And what's more, you can start for free. If you have 10 users or less, it's free to use. More than 10 users, you can get a 14-day free trial, no credit card needed. So make sure to scan the QR code on your screen or go to the link in the description of this video and open your free Connect Team account today. And thank you, Connect Team, for sponsoring this video and supporting this channel. So I'm going to insert another sheet, and this one is going to be a master list of all the employee trainings available. And for this example, I'm only listing what the training is and the number of modules in that course. And like before, I'm going to convert this into a table. I'll use the dark green again. And I'm also going to select the training heading and assign it a name. And we'll call this list of trainings and press enter, and we'll rename this sheet course list. So with those supporting sheets out of the way, let's create the training tracker. So we'll insert a new sheet and we'll rename this. So right click and select rename on the tab, employee training tracker. And let's drag this tab to the left so that it's the first one. And the headers that we'll use in this example will be employee name, employee ID, department, title, training, modules, training start date, modules completed, progress, and training completion date. And again, these headers may differ for your business, and we'll put our cursor on any one of these, and we will format this as a table and select this dark green one, and my table has headers since these are the headers. And let's just expand all of these. So this employee training tracker sheet is where we'll be doing a lot of the tracking work. And a lot of this data will be pulled from the employee list and the course list. But then, of course, we'll make manual updates as to when the employee started the training, the modules completed, and when they finished the training. So to reference the employee names, we're going to use a data validation list that's going to reference this list of employee names in our employee list tab. So back to this training tracker in cell A2, in the data tab, in the data tools section, look for data validation. And from allow, select list. And the source that we'll reference will actually be that named range we created earlier. And in case you have a lot of named ranges available and you don't remember what they're called, one thing you can do to select the right one is go into your formulas tab. In the defined name section, click on use in formula. And here you'll see the named ranges in your workbook. So we're going to select employee names from this dropdown and click OK. And now we can just go down the list and select the employee name. And I'm going to go ahead and select all my employees with one name in each row. And with a table, each time you tab over, a new row will be inserted into your table. So to pull the employee IDs, departments, and titles, we're going to use VLOOKUP formulas. So we'll write equals VLOOKUP, and the lookup value will be the employee name. The table array will be here in the employee list. So we'll select that entire table, and the column index number will be, of course, the column number of the header that we need. So for example, employee ID is the second column in this table. So we'll say 2, and then we'll say range lookup is false because we only want an exact match, and close the parentheses. And because it's a table, this automatically fills the rest of the way down. And then we'll repeat this for the department. We'll look up the employee name, reference this table. This time we'll need the third column and false. And same thing with the title. Look up the employee name, select the employee list table. Time it is the fourth column this time, and we want an exact match. And let's again expand these columns. So for the training column, we're also going to use a data validation list here, and we're going to pull in all of the training courses listed in this tab. And then from here, we can select which training each associate will be assigned to do. So back in the data tab, in the data tools section, click on data validation, and we'll again select list. And for the source, we're going to this time reference the list of trainings named range that we created earlier. And we'll click OK. And we'll drag this all the way down. And now we can just select which training each associate will need to complete. One of the main reasons that we want this column of trainings assigned to each associate to be a data validation list is because we're going to, again, use a VLOOKUP formula, but this time we're going to use that to pull the number of modules available for each training. And to do that, of course, we want an exact match for our formula. So we'll write equals VLOOKUP, open parentheses, and this time the lookup value will be the training, comma, and the table array will be the course list table that we created in the course list tab. So we'll select that. The column reference will be the second column, and we want an exact match, so we'll write false and close the parentheses. So the next thing I want to do is add some formatting to the training dates. So training start date, I'll select that entire column. We'll go back to the Home tab, and in the number section, I'm going to select short date. And now when I enter the dates, that should automatically format as a date field. And I'll update this with the start date for each one. And the training completion date will also be formatted with the short date field. And the start date, training completion date, and modules completed, these three headings are, of course, going to be manual entries. So we'll fill this in for now just so you can see an example of how that can be done. And in the progress column, we're going to have two different things happening here. The first is that I want to create a formula that's going to calculate what percent progress each associate is making on this specific training. So this will be a formula that'll be the number of modules completed divided into the number of modules in total for that training. And we'll select this column and we'll format this as a percent. So the next thing that I want to do to this column is apply a conditional formatting that will, at a glance, let me see the progress that that specific associate is making as they complete the specific training. So to do that, we'll go into the Home tab and in the Style section, select Conditional Formatting, and we're going to select icon sets for this example. There are several here to select from. I'm going to select the three symbols with the check mark, exclamation point, and X as my progress trackers. And it automatically applied default formatting, but let's just see what it is. Make sure that the rules that it's using are ones that I'm in agreement with. So back in conditional formatting, select Manage Rules. And let's double click to open this up. So currently this green icon with the check mark will only display if the value is 67% or higher. But I actually only want for this to display this green icon if the associate has completed their training. So I'm going to change the value of 67 to 100, and because it's a percent, this makes sense that the type is percent. And then we'll skip here to the X. So if it's less than 33%, I'm okay with that. And then the yellow exclamation will just let me know that the associate is making progress. And that should display anytime the value is greater than 33 or less than 100. So we'll click OK, click Apply. Let's just make sure that this works. So let's say we'll move this to 8. And yes, it's still at 89%, but it's still showing the exclamation point. And the training completion date column is, of course, a manual input. So then when an associate has completed it, we simply go in and type the date that they completed that training. So thanks for watching. And for more tutorials like this, click on these links. Thanks.